What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversation, 18 award winner in the innovation category, handed out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And, I'm going to make a special announcement at the end of this, but it coincides about the conversation topic tonight because the lady we have, and a true lady that we have on tonight, her name is, her given name is Faces by Pureness. She's also known as Elizabeth Taylor, but I know her as Faces by Pureness. So that's what I'm going to refer to her by this evening, if she's okay with that, right?
Yeah.
All right. She is the founder and owner of Faces by Pureness, a company that focuses on customer service, cleanliness, and talent in the field of beauty. I like that line. That's very talent in the field of beauty. I like that. The company was built with high standards, and Elizabeth plans on keeping those standards very high, and she does. Dabbling in makeup during her high school teenage years as she worked in an aesthetics shop, she then decided to change her future career focus when she attended college. Soon after, she realized that she would never leave beauty behind and entered the entertainment field. While singing and being in front of the camera, she was very involved backstage with hair, makeup, and wardrobe for talent, including herself. During her time attending university-level courses for advertising and working in the government for some years, Elizabeth realized her talent should not be a side job, but yet her cause, and there began Faces by Pureness. Having earned certification in hair, nails, and textured, quote, black, unquote, hair, Elizabeth is here to work for you. She has dealt with many professions that focus on clientele, respect, and purity. Man, whoever wrote this bio is on point and holds her own company for the highest measure in all these categories. And that is true because we've had offline discussions, and that is very, very true about Faces by Pureness. She has worked on a spectrum of clients from corporate weddings, videos, photo shoots, and magazines, international recording artists, Avon Canada, Lana McQuaid, and WNBA star Tammy Sutton-Brown. Hire Faces by Pureness for your next beauty service and will make your day even more flawless. A women's virtue equals pureness. And we are so blessed to have Faces by Pureness here tonight. We're going to be talking about a little bit about her story, a little about facial and all that kind of stuff, and also taking care of your face to this coronavirus thing. So let us welcome, well, for the first time and hopefully not the last time, we saw each other at Christmas time. I have to say that I'm negligent because she gave me her contact information and I didn't contact her. Then a few weeks ago, she does IG Lives on the regular with a gentleman, Maluli. You guys got to check what they do on IG Live. It is jokes and fun at its best. And she called me out saying, Dr. Vibe, you haven't called me. What's the story? So then I said, okay, I'm going to get in touch with you right after I get off your IG Live. We did that. Here she is. And we are speaking of that she'll be here for more conversation to come because she has so much valuable information to offer about the biggest organ on your body, your skin.
Yeah.
There you go. So after that long and well-deserved introduction, thank you so much. How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm prosperous. I've been working. Who knew, right? I would not slow down in these times. It would be just as fast-paced, staying up just as late. So it's been a pleasure though. It's been great. It's been great.
Okay, I'm going to parking lot how this current environment has been for you. Well, obviously, it sounds like it's been great opportunities, but let's find out a little bit about the younger faces, the going to school, doing this, doing that, the university stuff. How was, who, what, where, and why, where you grew up, family, all that kind of stuff?
Okay, well, I'm Toronto born, North York born specifically. I had a great childhood, full family, only child.
Okay.
And had great experiences, took piano classes, went to ballet, did skiing, skating, all the above. I had a great childhood and not complain at all. I would be ungrateful if I did. But absolutely, I was well-rounded. More of a tomboy, though, so a lot of people were shocked to see me go the beauty route. So I started dibbling and dabbling and started understanding certain scientific things, and one thing led to another, and here I am in the beauty industry of all places.
So was like when you were younger, was beauty something that you were attracted to, or did it come by second nature?
It wasn't necessarily where I would have focused on, but I was very artistic. I was always painting. I was always playing an instrument, you know? So it was always in the artistic field. And then slowly it led into beauty kind of naturally.
Wow. And were your parents supportive of you getting involved in that industry?
They're Jamaican parents, so no.
Okay, no, say no more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, I got that now go work and you're not gonna make no money. So
You need a profession.
Yes. You're smart. Go be a doctor, you know? But,
so,
you know.
Yeah, and I can fully relate because my dad wanted me to be an accountant. And could you imagine my personality as an accountant?
Sitting there. You see?
Yeah, no.
You'd be swamped right now, but yeah, no.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, halfway through the first term of university, I was doing terrible. I said, Dad, I ain't doing it anymore. And I paid for the rest of my university.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, I paid.
Wow.
I when I graduated, I had no debt.
Good for you. Good for you.
So there you go. So when did you what was the first beauty event you did? Like, because it sounds like you were involved in the entertainment industry, which I didn't know. So let's stop there. What was your involvement in the entertainment industry?
It was a lot of mishmash of things. It was either church-wise, being in choirs and whatnot. And then it also moved on to music videos and other types of shows, if you will. I had a lot of performer friends and connections that way. Scarborough, Toronto, all of that. Everyone was a music artist. Everybody was rapping. Everybody had girls in a video. I happened to be girl in a video a few times as well. We won't speak on that. But within that, I kept getting asked to do people's makeup, and it was just for fun. It was just for fun. It was like, okay, well, here's another canvas I get to paint today. And that was it.
What was the most memorable makeup, like in those days, the most memorable makeup session you did in the early days?
In the early days, I want to say it's a toss-up. There was one where it was actually my mom, because she never wears makeup. So it was just like, it was almost traumatic as well. A little traumatic, but it was also a lot of fun. So it sticks out in my memory. And then going a few years later, I would say still in the early stages of actually having the business was Tammy Sutton Brown. That's the person who I mentioned in my bio. And I was just like, wow, a basketball player is asking me to do her makeup for a photo shoot. Why? I couldn't understand it.
So her camp approached you?
She personally came to me.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was just like, why? How did this even happen? I guess there was a photographer involved and he was looking for an artist and she sought me out. Who knew? So awesome feeling, a bit nerve-wracking, I will say.
Sure.
But it got me in that whole field of thinking, well, maybe I could do celebrity type work. You know, maybe I could add that in there. I never thought I had it in me.
So who was the first celeb of any level that you worked with?
That's a great question. I would say it would be anybody. There's a mishmash of time that happened. And I guess we might say it depends on the level of celebrity you're looking at. But I did some TV hosts and then I did some music artists. I guess in terms of internationally known, we might say Cardinal Official.
Okay.
Might be one to be reputable. Of course, it was Michie Me. There's been Julie Black now recently. There's quite a few different ones, but all of them have been great.
For my worldwide audience, these are mainly Toronto-based. So if you don't know these names, there's something called Google. There's something called YouTube.
I will urge you to
there you go.
Double check.
So when did you realize that this thing you were having fun was going to be a business? Or said, was there a moment that you said, you know what, I'm good at this thing and I'm going to just drive it?
Yeah. It was when I was working for the government. I kind of started realizing that I loved that job. And that's what's so strange to me. I look back at it. I loved that job. And I really found it to be probably something I'd turn into a career at that point. And something just said, no, you need to go back to your art. And I hadn't touched the arts in a little while. I had been developing my kit, but I hadn't really gone back fully. And honestly, it was just a wake up call. I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I literally said to the supervisor, I was like, I can't. And I went to the head of Hansard, if anyone knows, Legislative Assembly. I went to him and I said, I'm sorry, I have to go. I'll give you my, my letter. And and he's like, why, Elizabeth, why? And I was like, I know, we have a great bond, a great relationship. It's a wonderful working environment, benefits and all, but I had to go. And that was it. There was no major thing that happened. It was just a light.
So two questions on this. First of all, mm-hmm. Who was the first person you told after you gave in your goodbye?
My mom.
I was going to ask what your parents were going to say. What did she have to say?
She was like, all right, we'll see.
And for people who are watching this live or on the replay, Faces has one of the great laughs, especially during these times. I love her laugh.
Thank you.
It's so good. And if she wants a second career, I think stand-up comedy, doing imitations, exactly, could be it. So that was what Mom had to say. What did Dad have to say?
He still has something to say.
Oh, wow.
He still wants to know if I'm okay, if I'm alive, if I'm surviving. How am I surviving? Wow. Yeah. I will say, though, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, to be completely honest. He's never really seen me on the trenches. It's my mom has kind of been in and out certain times. I took her to Michigan one time with me on a fashion show. And that was the first time she got to see a full fashion show done by me and everyone, clapping for me and that type of thing. So it became real for her at that moment. So I will give my father the benefit of the doubt. He never got to experience that time. So it is what it is.
So in the early days, let's go back to it. What were some of the memories you have of the early days of Faces by Pureness? Like, obviously it's grown and gotten bigger, but what were the early days like? Oh, gosh.
Okay, they weren't, I'm not going to say they weren't always smooth. I mean, it's getting yourself into the industry. It's feeling people out, people having attitudes or higher than thou type of vibe going on. It's Toronto. We kind of know there's a little attitude at times. You have to make your way. You have to prove yourself. So there was a little bit of that, a little bit of pushback, and not necessarily from clients. Sometimes it would just be industry professionals, us kind of battling each other to see who's the fittest, Unfortunately, yeah, there have been some times where I was ready to throw in the towel due to that type of attitude and that type of, pushback. But I made it through, and that's what taught me how to move forward and how to become stronger in this industry. And it is an industry, might I add, very filled with men. So you have to understand how to navigate through with still some respect and dignity in the end.
So, and I just want to shout out on the Get Vocal platform. Hey, Luke from Windsor, one of my proud Canucks supporters. Thank you so much, Luke, for stopping by. Hope you're keeping safe. Yeah, so what kept you going in the early days? And I appreciate your honesty saying there were some times you wanted to throw in the towel. What kept you going?
It was the feedback. It was simple things like doing a wedding and just seeing a bride almost come to tears when they see themselves. Just those little things. It was like, no, I have to keep doing this. And then, of course, as time went on, just a little bit further in, then there were bookings that I was committed to. So then I was like, well, I have to keep going because I have a booking tomorrow. I have to keep going. I have next weekend to do. And then as things started getting more busy, I was like, there's a reason these people are booking. There's a reason I'm getting referrals. There's a reason I'm doing that lady's daughter for her graduation after I did her wedding 2 years ago. There's a reason. And I kept going.
Nice. In the early days, were there some pivotal moments that kept you going?
What would be one? Actually, you know what? The strongest almost downfall was what made me keep going. And it was a rapper that tried to put me in a place that I did not need to be in. And the way I fought that back, I came out of it full of tears, I'll say that much.
Yeah.
But I was like, there is no way I'm going to prove him right. There's no way on earth am I going to prove this guy right. And and that was one of the pivotal moments that I felt like quitting. And I was like, there's absolutely no way on earth I'm ever going to quit due to that. So.
So when did the Faces by Pureness brand really start to expand? Because I hadn't seen you for a while, and I'm going, what? I'm going, I knew you when, and I'm going. So when was that moment that it just took it to the next level?
I don't know exactly when it happened per se. Maybe social media wise, I could say probably 2016, maybe somewhere around there. I won't quite number it. But I will say I started noticing in a public way that around 2012, 2013, people started saying, hey, I know you. Hey, or they might say, hey, if I introduce myself or whatever and I gave them a card and they'd be like, I know this card. I know that name. I'm already following you. And I was like, oh. And then I started getting that back to back. I'm already following you. I'm already following you. I already know you. Oh my God, Faces by Pureness. Oh my God, it is you. That type of thing. And I was like, oh, it was interesting.
Nice.
I hadn't known.
Nice. I just want to shout out on the Facebook platform, Sophia Jacob from Ottawa. Thank you so much for loving the conversation. It's appreciated. We could talk a little bit more about faces, but let's get into, especially at this time, and it's ironic, and I think important that we're talking about this. We're doing going through the coronavirus situation, and one of the things they say is, don't scratch your face or don't touch your face. And okay, well, you gotta wash your face, and I will tell you, as I said before we went live, I did something to make sure I was proper today. I not only used a facial cleanser, but I also did a facial scrub today.
Oh, that was a secret. Okay.
So I do it. I do that twice a week.
Okay.
But the thing is, how can one maintain their good skincare during this time? What should we doing? Should we be doing? Is it any different than before this came on about?
That's a great question. And to really answer that question, we'd have to see what they were doing ahead of time and was it even working for them. So that's one of the key things we won't really be able to tap into. But if you already had a regimen and your skin was clear and you're finding you have dry patches because you're inside, the heat is on, you're not getting proper vitamin D, those type of things, then there are some things we need to look into here. Now, what I will say though is water intake is going to be a huge thing during this time because it is so easy to fall drought. And unfortunately, we might not think that. We think we're indoors, we think we're fine, but we will need to keep our uptake of water. So within that, how are you feeling? If you're not emotionally well, that's going to hinder your balance. Unfortunately, we don't have human touch right now. How do we deal with that? We can manifest human touch into our minds, but what can we really do to have that human touch? Not a lot we can physically do, but using our emotional vices, whoever we have connected to us, and if we're home alone, then whoever we have virtually connected to us. So these are all things we want to look into because skincare it's a huge organ. It's a huge part of our bodies, but it starts from within, right? So in terms of physical skincare, natural oils, washing our face with oils. Concept that nobody ever follows.
Okay, so, and before we go any further, someone is shouting you out on Facebook. Robert Deek is saying, I don't know if you don't know who he is, but he says, looking great, Faces by Pureness. So there you go. Now,
thank you.
What is the difference washing your face with oils and what type of oils compared to washing it with soap?
Okay, so yes, clarifying our skin with soaps, black soaps, natural soaps. I'm always a natural girl. I like to use natural things. Is prime, of course. However, washing with oils, if you think of the concept of, for girls, maybe makeup removes makeup, right? For guys, maybe they might know paint removes paint. It's that type of concept that we're thinking to help clarify skin. We naturally have oils that come out of our skin. If we use an oil, it will combat that. So that's the concept. That's the thinking. So you can use oils, but of course, as I said, there's still clarifying needed. Black soaps and those type of regimens are fine. If you were using a soap that was store-bought, by all means, that's fine as well. What we might want to look into, though, is how we're moisturizing. And that might be the key thing to deal with in these times. Now, you mentioned not touching your face. Of course, that's not really possible. We do need to still touch. However, I think what they meant and haven't really gone into explaining is we don't want to touch our faces after we've touched a million other things, especially outside in the environment. right? So that, I think, is what they were touching on. Now, in general, yes, we will need to touch our face. I think the idea is to have clean hands.
Okay. And I know you work on all different types of cultures when it comes to clients. Can you give some suggestions on skincare for different cultural backgrounds? Because obviously, upkeep of black skin is different than non-black skin. Can be even also different than Oriental, East Indian, all
Absolutely.
those different things.
I think the main thing is melanin content. So it might not necessarily be, Caucasian versus, African American type skin. It's not necessarily the difference there. It's the difference in how much melanin we have in our skin, right? Because you can be very fair complected or very darkly complected. So it all depends. However, what I will say is the main thing is oils. If you are very oily, then you want to combat that by using oils. Now, I will say if you're very dry, what you want to do is keep your moisturization somewhat to a minimal. And it's so opposite of what we're taught. So it's keeping that concept in mind that may actually help your regimen greatly.
You're puzzling me here about the oils because I probably have on the face dry skin. So where do I buy? I don't know what type of oil to buy. Like I'm gonna follow what you're telling me, but I'm going what
Absolutely.
what oil?
So now we go to levels. Absolutely, we go through levels. We have grapeseed oil, which is very light, and then we go all the way to Jamaican black castor oil, which is extremely thick and heavy. So it all depends on your skin type. It's generally not needed for Jamaican black castor oil per se, or you might want to dilute it. But then there's a middle ground of like olive oil or something like that. So there's so many different spectrums. I just say try it because a lot of us sometimes we incorrectly assess our skin and we're like, I'm totally dry, but we're not really dry. We just didn't have enough water, or, we didn't have enough sleep, or we're not emotionally well. So there's so many things that factor in. So I don't want to necessarily dissect someone unless I personally know them. However, I will say this is our spectrum of oils, and the thinner, watery or kind of more oils are what you would want if you have dry skin, because you want to bring the moisture back in but not overly do so, because the cells will reproduce and then you'll get more flakiness.
So maybe I'm sounding simplistic here. So should I get some olive oil and just
let's try middle ground? Olive oil would be a good middle ground.
And put it on my face?
Just a couple drops, yeah. That is what.
Come on.
Tell me I'm lying when you try.
No, you're the expert. Come on now, look. Come on now, look. Come on. But how come the masses are not told about that? They're driven. Of course, go ahead. This is what I want to hear. Go on.
Yeah. Because, okay, we are kind of told about it. However, we'll be told that, add a little chemical to that, put it on a shelf, make a pretty package and sell it to them for $50. But what you will see on the packaging is made with real olive oil. That's what they're selling to us, right? Couldn't I get olive oil over here for $4.99?
Yeah.
And use the real thing as opposed to the one that they've told me for $50 and it's all the way at the bottom of the ingredients list? No. So that's my philosophy.
So great point here given by Luke. Luke from Windsor, Caucasian, saying, I'm worried I get pimples if I rub olive oil on my face.
Okay, absolutely not. Now, I would like to, if he wants to speak with me, my contacts, we'll figure out contacts later, and DM me. I want to speak with you because olive oil or oils will not create pimples. It does not clog pores is what people will think. Once you're properly clean, you're properly hydrated, you're properly taken care of, olive oil will be a gift to your skin. It's the gift that keeps giving. And yeah, there's a lot of misconception with oils and clogging and this type of thing, and it's absolutely untrue.
Wow, okay, that's interesting. Very, very interesting. I've definitely learned something like that today. So I've got olive oil here, and tonight after this conversation, I'm putting some on my face. And
after that scrub,
and the next time on IG, I'm gonna get on and say, it works, man. It's all that.
I love that.
See, and Luke says, me too, Dr. Vibe. So you got there you go.
I want to hear testimonials, guys.
Absolutely. So how has, and going back just to general industry talk, How has the industry changed throughout your journey? How's it changed?
Well, first of all, in terms of, I guess you say music industry and stuff like that, a lot of things did change because things shifted digitally. So as well did the work.
Right.
We were creating more virtual things as opposed to live shows. That wasn't happening as much. So many things kind of switched up, but in a sense, it actually worked out for us in the crew in the background. We're getting more work like that, virtual work and post work, edited work, which is great. We love that. But what I will say is, for myself, it wasn't so much of what changed in the industry. It was really what changed in my business, because I was more established. I was getting that respect. So I wasn't having the pushback I used to. So that, for me, is what changed the most personally. So I can't speak on the industry per se, but I did see a big switch for myself.
And now with so much stuff done digitally, does that mean you have to travel out more? Are you doing as much traveling as you were in the past? Or, I guess your business...
It's about the same.
About the same. Okay.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And what amount of your business now would you say, what percentage of your business is referral?
Ooh.
Ah.
Probably we're close to... It's... this is good, because it's slightly referral even when I'm doing someone who may be well known and shouts me out. Would we still consider that? That might still be a referral type. Yeah. So I would say we're at the 80% referral.
How much?
Because a lot of people already know who I am when they come at my door. You know what I mean? 80? Yeah, it's a good portion, I tell ya. A good portion. I have my Googles, I have my Instagrammers, but even then, when I ask an Instagrammer, oh, how did you get my contacts? Well, I searched your name, but somebody already told me about you from last year. So, I always get that. So it's still a half-half. So.
Well, also too, another great supporter of the Dr. Vibe show is here, Dr. Tachi, who hosts the live stream about media, tech, and pop culture. She's also a choreographer, a dancer, based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And her program is called Mediascope. It's on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time every Wednesday on Instagram Live. And then she does the same thing again on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, and Periscope at 6 p.m. live every Wednesday evening. And Dr. Tachi, if you want to jump in, because I think you'd enjoy this conversation about aesthetics and things like that, then I would love you to come in if you're camera ready, because sometimes I know you're not camera ready. This is 80% business.
Yes.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Something.
So how has coronavirus affected your business?
Well, at first I was like, whatever, I'm still going to do this, but it has made things a lot more cautious. I've still done a few in-home services. I say it's not as much makeup based. It's more weaving or hair or maintenance, stuff like that. What I will say is Google shut me down.
What?
Google, quick, fast, and in a hurry, told me I was permanently closed, and I checked, and I'm very much permanently closed on Google.
How did that happen? Why did it happen?
First, they started sending like questions, which kind of seemed like warnings, like, have your hours changed? Are you doing anything different during this time? Has Corona changed your business at all? And I was like, you know what? They're asking a lot of questions right now. Eventually, I got the message. You know what? We've just permanently closed you right now. Like, you're done for right now, but not permanent. It was a temporary close. But I think a lot of businesses got that. Even though the health department can't necessarily shut me down because I'm mobile, as many of the, brick and mortar businesses have been shut down, but that's their way of shutting me down is Google.
I'm still not clear why this happened. I don't get, is it because of?
It's a non-essential service in their eyes. So if I had a physical salon, they'd probably shut that down. But since I don't, their way of doing it was Google. Yeah.
Okay. That I understand. I hear where you're coming from. I just felt like, wow, they shut you down. Like,
Like what? Yeah.
So you're doing, I know you and I have had conversations over the last week. So you're doing virtual stuff now.
Yes, yes,
Was that,
yes.
was that
Teaching.
any part before this situation hit? How much of business were you doing virtual compared to how much you're doing now?
That's so funny. I've gotten a lot of hate for not jumping back virtually. I had, I want to say, a budding channel that I basically abandoned somewhere around, as I said, around where I started booming, 2013, 14. I pretty much just abandoned the channel completely. Um, and I had people asking me why. And that's when I started actually booming on YouTube even more with other channels. And I left my channel completely abandoned. So, not the best move, but at the time I felt it was necessary. I just was like, I have things to do. And so there wasn't a lot of virtual things going on other than just basic posts on Instagram and stuff like that. It's great. It's kept me afloat. However, of course, I would fare with bringing back the YouTube channel and bringing back that community as well. Now, in terms of online work, I've done it here and there. This kind of did push me back into it, but I was already planning to do virtual classes at the end of this year. So who knew, right? I'm ahead of my own schedule at this point, thanks to Corona.
Good for you. Good for you. Uh, the requests that you get for your services, are they been the same over the years, or has that shifted over the years? Your service offerings per se, or okay, let me go back. What you offered at the beginning, is it still what you're offering now, or is that changed based on client demand?
Yes. I find that I was so overbooked with the main two services, which were makeup and hair. I was so overbooked. I couldn't add the other ones, which was back in the day, it was skincare and nails. I couldn't add it anymore. Sitting there and doing someone's nails for, an hour or two, depending on what the service was, or manicure, pedicure, that type of thing, and bringing a whole separate kit during part of my day, it just wasn't fitting in anymore. And financially, it didn't make sense because salons were offering it for like quarter, what a mobile service would. And I couldn't really explain to people why I was charging more, and they didn't really understand the benefits. So I kind of just let that go. And it really wasn't even feasible. So it was an easy let go. So I will say those services have been dropped for the most part. If an emergency case and somebody needs it added to a service, if I'm there all day anyways, I may honor that. However, yeah, I think I have scaled back and kind of kept within the niche of hair and makeup.
Right. What percentage of the services you offer are individual versus corporate versus weddings or social events?
Literally everything has an exact margin. Like it's literally equal across the board. When it comes to music, when it comes to events, when it comes to weddings, when it comes to corporate, literally, I promise you, it's so strange. Even when people say, what do you do more, hair or makeup? It's literally split down the middle. It's 50-50. So there's really no way to even scale and say, well, I'd like to do weddings more. I'd really like to do corporate more. It's literally equal.
Percentage business or percentage of clients male versus female, and has that changed over the years?
Yeah, it actually went down in males. I'll say I don't know if it's just in terms of, I shouldn't say I don't know, but I know partially it is because of editing. There's so much editing that has evolved and we've grown so much in that spectrum that men don't necessarily need as much touch-ups on set due to that. So it's kind of unfortunate. I'm a little bit sad. I'm actually going to say I'm a little sad about that. I used to love being able to see, because on women, like there's different things you can do, contour and all that stuff, and then she puts her hair down and it all comes together. But there's a certain blendability you have to do with a man like yourself and blending back into what hairline, you know what I mean? So it's like you got to blend it all the way back. I used to love doing that, and I do miss it. But because of editing and the way we're able to fake the funk for the most part, they don't necessarily always need makeup for TV and shoots and magazines
I want to
anymore.
land for a few seconds about men's skincare and how that's evolved over the years. And also, do you have a few tips for men when it comes to skincare?
Absolutely. Well, now going back to natural oils, a lot of men don't believe me. They feel, I make no sense, right? And another thing is a lot of men hide behind, well, I'm a man. I don't need to worry about my skin. I wash my face with whatever is on the counter and, keep it moving. The one thing I have noticed though is, you know, maybe self-esteem issues in terms of that, and how it works behind what we're doing on a daily. And I do say it is important. When you look good, you feel good. You need to take care of yourself. You need to look into those things, whether it comes down to mani and pedi. Most people are totally against that. But, you know, every few months, if you were to treat yourself to that, you'd get some clean hands, if the most part, and look good. But when it comes to skin, it's imperative. And especially when we come to melanated skin, we have curlier hair. We have potential bumps that may appear on the facial area, on the back of the neck. How are we treating that? You know, so taking care of that is essential, and it does grow worse over time if we ignore it. So that's my main thing: extracting, taking care of the skin, making sure it's all good to go. And if you're not able to take care of it yourself, if you have a family member, if you have a friend, whatever, that can take care of it. If not, then I say professionals. You know, if when it comes to dermatology or a beauty professional like myself, to help you maintain that, because it's a big deal, and we don't want to have long-term effects on our skin that are negative.
You know, it's
of course not.
Because when I was younger, I used to have the razor bumps, and it took me a long time to find a razor that did not leave me the bumps. It took a long.
And what did you find? Were you using something sharper that helped, or what was it?
The more blades I used, the better shape I got, which meant less bumps. But I also realized that this facial scrub twice a week was important. And
absolutely,
I love showers. Absolutely. Like, one of the people think I'm a little crazy. I love taking a shower and shaving after and feeling fresh and clean. And you know, my dad says sometimes when I was growing up, says, "Man, we should have another bathroom just for you." But because it's a very important thing for me. And you know, I moisturize my whole body. And I found something interesting the other day, that over the years I've been using the skin creams, and I found out that my hands would get very dry. So I use a specific hand cream for my hands, because it doesn't, like the body cream I use does not have the same positive effect on my hands that it does it with the rest of my body. It was a aha moment for me, saying like, how come this body cream that's good on my, rest, it doesn't work on my hands? And different skin, different tones. So, you know, I understand what you're sharing. It just makes, Dr. Tachi, don't LOL me. Come on now, be easy on me. And in the area for ladies, and I, you know, you've done so many different types, cultural backgrounds. Any general tips or suggestions you make to ladies, especially during this time when it comes to taking care of their skin, and also product purchases?
Ooh, product purchases. I say don't make any.
Okay, but that's your opinion. Okay, so is there a reason why you're saying don't make any? And you don't have to say any brands, but you can just,
No, of course, You know, there are some standout brands that, you know, are okay. I personally have had some positive and some negative. And it all depends on what part of your life you're in, you know. You may react to a product now versus a different time of the season, or a different time of your body cycle, or a different time of your life. You may react to the same product completely differently. So, you know, it all depends. But I'm just, when it comes down to products, I would say lean towards natural products. You know, natural earthly products. We have shea butters. We have, I love mango butter. Mango butter is my baby. Butter? We have avocado.
Okay.
I order it, but I believe some health food stores have it, I think, but I know I order a plethora of my things. And avocado oil, pretty much nobody.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, we should be ingesting avocados. We should have it all smothered all over us. Oh yeah, avocados are good. So there's so many things that we just avoiding and just don't understand that.
You know, You should
It's
be
just,
a
it's
product
gifts to your body.
spokesperson. We're not going to go any
I
further.
should.
Dr. Tachi says
Thank you.
Whole Foods in the United States sells mango butter.
Yeah, that's the problem. Canada's
Yeah.
just not the same. So what I know, some of the audience here might be a mix of both. So yes, in the States you might have a lot more options.
No.
Unfortunately,
And this
here
is
we
the thing
do
we
not.
can get jealous
So
about with Dr.
it is what
Tachi.
it is.
She has she has an avocado tree.
Okay, that's a problem. That's actually a problem for me.
So the next time you go to
That hurt
Florida,
my
I'll
feelings.
tell you where Dr. Tachi lives, and you can go hang out with her.
Yeah, actually. If they let me
There
bring back
you
some
go.
avocado to Canada, I'm good to go.
One of the things you also mentioned during our conversation is the importance of water for the skin.
Yes.
Could you spend some time sharing with our audience about that?
Yes. Intake of water and then splashes of water. You know, there's some I believe Vichy is one of those products. There's a few that came out that have these misters that mist your skin. Now, there are natural misters out there. I'm not sure. I don't know exactly where. Maybe online you could find them. But they mist your skin with water. Giving yourself a splash of water every day, a couple times a day, does wonders. So you've moisturized your skin. You've washed your skin. Then you've moisturized it. Mist of water. Moisture comes from water, not oil. And then you seal the moisture in with your oil. And you've got the perfect regimen going right there. Now, also, intake of water. Everything, again, comes from within. We help when we put things outside, but we're really benefiting when we take them inside. So drinking your water. And I don't mean 1 cup. I mean like a gallon of water a day. And that seems crazy, but it's very doable.
Water, so why would you not feed it, right?
Water.
Dr. Chachi says, I love Vichy.
Do you really? Yes. Actually, that's one of the brands I will say. They may have some chemicals, whatever, but that's one of the brands I might actually say, yes, if you are into Vichy, you're good to go.
Nice. And also on I think we got a question from the Facebook Live page. Robert Deek is asking, what can you use for a bump on the back of your neck?
Ooh, well, first of all, there's so many questions. What products are you using? Maybe it was a shower gel. Maybe it's clothing that's irritating your skin. It depends also if it's engaged, like if it's full of pus or anything like that. If it's hard, then you have a whole another thing dealing with that might be something the doctor needs to assess. So there's a lot of things in that question that I don't really want to puncture and say, okay, I'm going to give you an answer on that because I don't know the full assessment on that. But yeah, take a look at it, double check, Google what you can about it. And if it's something that seems a little bit more serious, take it to a doctor.
That definitely, Faces would need to know a lot more than just a very general question.
Yeah,
so you'd have to get a little bit more detailed on that. I just also want to shout out on the Get Vocal platform, Candy Sakai from Japan is
hey Japan.
Candy,
I want to go there.
Chat. Hope all is fine with you. If you have any questions about skincare, you got 5 minutes to get them in. If you have any, and same thing to you, Dr. Touch. I know you love your Vichy. I don't know if you have any questions in regards to skincare. Also, Luke from Windsor, he's here, and also the people on the Facebook end. We are taking some questions or have any comments for about 5 more minutes. And then Faces is going to get back to the grind because I know she's grinding these days.
Back to the grind.
He is definitely okay.
Crazy.
Oh, Robert Deek has another question. Who would be your favorite celebrity you actually worked with? Well, Robert's given a lot of questions here. This is good.
That could be messy.
Or do you have a favorite? Do you have a favorite that you know have worked with?
They've all held. Absolutely. No, they've all held great places in my heart, whether they ended or still current. Honestly, I've had great experiences across the board. So I don't want to say one per se. And just like I say with clients, I have different relationships, different experiences. Some make me laugh. Some have made me cry. Honestly, I don't put one above the other. It's all an amazing experience. And that's why I'm still here.
At this time of your journey, what's the biggest challenge you're facing with your business, if you have any? Yeah,
Oh,
at
sorry, during this time?
this time, and is it different than before the time we're in right now? Has the challenge shifted because of this time? And by the way, I love your
Huh.
ring and
Greatest.
the brace. I love that is that it looks
Oh,
so
thank
hot
you.
on you,
Thank you.
girl. It's on fire.
Thank you.
It's on. I love this going. She just like doing this thing going.
Fire. Thank you, my love. Oh, yeah, it's like one of those bracelet type connectors. I always love these things. I don't know why. But yeah. Oh, yeah. So changes. I always say it would be more of a personal thing because I'm a busybody. So I would say physically for myself, sitting down is weird. So I find myself running through the house for absolutely no reason whatsoever. So I won't say the business has taken a huge hit because for the most part, anything that was booked has now shifted. It hasn't really canceled. It hasn't ended. The whole world is not blowing up, but they've shifted a bit. So, the next couple of months, there'll be a transition and there will be some adjustments to be made.
Go ahead.
And hopefully
the questions are
everything will
flying
be
in now,
more.
so this is going to get interesting. There's a good.
Oh,
Okay.
questions come.
Now,
Okay,
this
yes.
is
Okay, so I'll kind
ironic.
of wrap up there.
Well, okay, two things. First of all, Candy from Japan says perfume also might help because it contains alcohol spray. Direct a distance toy from your face. I don't know exactly what that.
Are you crazy? That's so funny because that's what me and Mahuli were talking about. We were laughing about he had this perfume, and I said, "Guess what? It contains alcohol that may kill germs as well."
There you
I
go.
said that exact same
there
thing
you
on
go.
the live. So yeah,
and on the Facebook page, and folks, thank you so much. A lot of people are engaging on a number of platforms here, so thank you so much for taking the time. Sophia Jacob, and you're gonna laugh when I say this. Dove has been life from since I started to use it from way, way, way back. What are your thoughts on Dove products? What are your thoughts on Dove products? And do you have products that have zero fragrance?
Ooh, zero fragrance. Well, anything that I've recommended naturally, those were zero fragrance, other than olive oil kind of has a smell to it. But in terms of the Dove, I don't specifically know individual products that they have per se. I know most of them do have a scent. They might have an unscented line. I'm not quite sure. And I don't quite remember if it's for skincare specifically. However, Dove is great. Dove is great. I grew up remembering my doctor used to recommend Dove. And they've grown so much since. So yeah, if it's working for you,
isn't it ironic
keep
we
at
heard
it.
about Dove? We won't go there.
That's so funny. I was literally laughing.
Don't worry, Sophia. There's a reason why myself and Faces are giggling, but you'll hear before the end of the conversation. How did the name Faces by Pureness come to reality?
Okay, so at first I was really more focused on the makeup. So Faces By kind of it speaks for itself. Then Pureness came from a nickname in high school because I always used to be like, yes, you have to be amazing, you have to be great, you have to love yourself. I used to talk a whole bunch of stuff. And they used to be like, okay, Miss Pureness, okay, Miss Pure, all about everything. That's where it came from. That was where Pureness came from.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm just checking on our Facebook page. There's lots of comments coming on the Facebook page, so just waiting for it to populate again. Sure. Sophia Jacob is saying sensitive line has no fragrance. I don't know what that is. Maybe you do.
That's probably true. I think it's a white line. I think that could be Dove, and she could be very correct. Yeah.
Candy is saying on the Get Vocal hashtag Let's Go Dove. All right. let's go, Dove. That's hilarious.
I swear, manifestation.
What is the fun part of what you do? What do you get? Where do you get enjoyment? Because you've been doing this for a while. You still enjoy it. You laugh. What makes it still enjoyable for you? Because it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh gosh, that's what people don't see. They see me posting that laughter, but they don't see me sweating and trying to pull a kit over the sand, going to the beach, trying to figure out how to get it out of my kit after. They don't see any of that. But I will say it's the people. It's the people. Like people see physically that I'm just always smiling and I'm just a naturally happy person, but it's the people that bring me that joy. The service that I offer gives them happiness, and then that just exudes back onto me, and I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. I always love seeing my creative work. I love seeing it play out, whether it be on stage or wherever. It's so amazing. It's so gratifying. So that it's definitely the people that they just seal the deal for me.
Do you get younger people coming and asking for your advice on how to be successful like yourself?
Yes, I do. Even down to a girl that was doing my lashes about a month or so ago. Same thing. She was like, "Well, how did you get where you are?" And I get that all the time, and maybe not always online, but in person. And they're like, "I see you really like hustling. Like, wow, I thought it was like a joke. I thought it was an Instagram thing, but you're really doing it out here." And it's like, yeah, I've heard people say you're one of the busiest makeup artists I've ever seen. Like, you're literally going from booking to booking, and it's the people, because I've connected with them in such a way. It's me. I can't really sell that to anyone. I can't really teach that to anyone. It's me. So just like any other artist, I'll say, sell you. There's something about you people may love, and if you can tap into that, you will always win. You always win.
Looking back, would you have changed anything in the journey?
No, because I wouldn't be here. No.
Very, very nice. And Candy from Japan is saying facts. So I guess you have another fan, Pureness.
Here we go. Japan, just hold a place for me, girl.
We're going to start winding it down because, again, she's got to get back to the grind. I got to get back to the grind because it's been crazy for me, too.
I know.
Any last thoughts you'd like to share with our audience? Actually, you know what? No, that's something I did want to bring up. You made the decision to leave a government job to do this. And I think it's very interesting right now because the world as it is right now, some people are not going to be able to go back to what they were doing.
Funny enough, now that you say that, yeah, that it actually plays right into the time we're in. And some people may be having to make that decision right now. And now that you've been given that space, that time, look at it. I say really look deeply into it. If you have the resources, unfortunately, you might not be able to buy the things you need to for your particular business. You might not be able to source out what you need to, ship what you need to. But I will say really seriously look into any entrepreneurship you can during this time. It's a no-brainer. It's literally a no-brainer. You're not working. Some are not working anyways. There's really nothing to lose per se. Maybe a few dollars, maybe. But geez, I wish I had, I shouldn't say that, but I kind of wish I did have that opportunity to really pause and really stop and think about this business when I was jumping into it. You know what I mean? But there's really no way to do that while you have a full-time job and you're trying to create a business. It just doesn't work. So people that have this opportunity now, I say, jump on it. Jump on it.
Any final makeup thoughts you want to give before we let you go on your way?
Keep it beautiful, keep it natural, and keep it you.
I love that. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for taking time out of your positive, productive schedule and to finally come on here. If people want to get in touch with you, find out more, where can they go?
Well, there's the website, www.facesbypureness.com. That's PURENESS.com, Faces by Pureness. And it's Faces by Pureness across the board. I like to keep things consistent on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter, and a plethora of other places. So definitely check me out. If you need to book, there's booking services on the website.
One of the things I mentioned to Faces, if she's interested and available, and if people in the audience, either live on the replay, would you like to have Faces come back like maybe once a month and maybe give, half an hour, 15 minutes of whatever she wants to talk about in regards to fashion? I would love to make that happen. So audience, I know you're live. Some of you are live. Dr. Tati says that would be good. Candy's saying sure. The audience is, it's crowd. We like to be crowd driven. So this is good. Oh, also, Sophia Jacobs, in capital letters, Dove is life. And then she's also saying, thanks for the live stream. So definitely the demand is there. So after we finish, Faces and I will have a conversation if we can fit into her schedule. you will come in because
For
this has
sure,
been
for
overdue
sure.
for a long time. And I'm happy. Again, this is one
A
of the
long
things I
time.
took advantage of during this time.
Exactly, right? So
No,
I can't get mad at
you
it. I
know, and
can't.
I want her to come back when she has time because I know she has nothing but positive value and positive energy to offer all of us. So I'd like to
Thank
say
you.
thank you to
Thank you
Candy,
so much.
thank you to Luke, thank you to Tachi, thank you also on the Facebook Live to Sophia Jacob. Also, there was the other gentleman. Got to populate my page here. I have to thank Maluli. He wasn't here, but he was one of the catalysts of this happening.
He was
Yes, big
a
time.
contributor.
Sophia Jacob, Robert D. Thank you so much. Like people are hearting like crazy on Facebook Live. This is
Oh,
wonderful. Like definitely got to have
thank
you back.
you. Thank
We
you.
definitely have, and hopefully monthly.
Absolutely.
This
I'm
is
so
good. And
happy.
Luke is saying thank you,
So
everyone. So I am Dr. Vibe.
yeah.
I'm host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of epic conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations. Uh, should I tell them, Pureness? Okay, I'm gonna tell. So
Yeah,
I'll
go
tell them
ahead.
before
I
I
think
leave.
so.
So
Yeah.
I like to say a few things before as Dr. Tatu say, exit stage left. Before we exit stage left, she's a choreographer. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then I forgot my last part. I forgot it. I'll find it in a minute. But I'll find it
Oh,
in
it's all good.
just a second
All good.
because people need to know what I have to say or have to share. I don't say. There we go.
Mhm.
I've got it. Aim bigger, aim
Absolutely.
better, aim higher, aim wider. We like to say that. Now, for those who
Wow.
are live
Okay.
and who are listening on the replay, there is a big thing I'd like to share with you. This journey started back actually in September. Give a little bit of a story. In September, for those who do know, I'm very involved with helping fathers and men, which Pureness and I are going to be talking about offline because she's very passionate about that too. So back in September, I live in Toronto,
Mhm.
so does Pureness. I was doing some reading online, and there was a movie shown at the Toronto International Film Festival called Dads. It's a documentary, and it's featuring various dads, including Will Smith. So I read about it. I said, wow, I would have liked to have gone to that movie. So at the bottom of the press release, there was a contact name
Great.
and a phone number. So most people would say, okay, no problem. Maybe again. No, I called and I spoke to the representative from the PR agency. And she said, well, things last minute, et cetera. I said, well, look, I work in that space. If there's any opportunities that come up, please reach out to me. So I said to her, do you mind if I share some of the work I've done in this area? She said, no problem. The last week of November of last year, I get this email, Dr. Vibe, there's a potential opportunity partnering with, and I'll get the with in a little bit, with this blank. Would you
Great.
be interested? I
Da, da,
said,
da.
nah, I don't care. I'm joking aside. So yeah, I know.
I
I
didn't know
said
that
yes. I
part.
said
Okay,
I'd be
that's
interested, but
fine.
the opportunity was bigger than the resources I had and have still. But I leveraged because I'm a member of another organization called Dad Central Ontario, which is part of Dad Central Canada, which is a national fatherhood
Right.
organization for Canada. It's around for 20 years. So long story short, there's hundreds of emails, hundreds of conversations. So in the next 2 weeks, myself with a co-host will be hosting online conversations for fathers about fathers, co-sponsored by Dove Men Care. So I
Isn't
don't know
that
what Sophia
funny,
Jacob was all
guys?
about, and all the that's about this Dove. I just laughed about it. But in 2 weeks' time, uh, we'll be hosting monthly
Perfect.
cross Canada conversations. And the funny thing is, when I'm a
Yeah.
co-lead with this. I right from the beginning, I was saying to the PR agency, "You've got to do stuff online. We've got to do conversations online." And they're still going, yeah, it's okay." Well, because of the current situation now that's front and center. So I just want to encourage the people: if you have a dream, keep on
Yep.
working at that dream because some way, somehow, sometime, it's going to come to fruition.
You never know.
Yeah. So,
It's happening. It's
and Luke
happening.
goes, "Holy moly, that's my soap." So, so in the next few weeks,
See?
definitely in the next week or two, I'll be sharing on my social media platforms. We'll be doing national conversations for fathers in Canada, maybe fathers around the world, in regards to fatherhood. And the first one we're going to be doing is talking about fatherhood during this time, because many fathers who are used to being in the workplace are home right now. How are they adjusting, spending time with their children, etc.? So if you're not following me, go to my website, the drvibeshow.com, and you'll get all my social media information. Please follow me. Tell your friends, tell fathers, and tell men about these conversations, because I don't know of any platform that's doing regular. There is a platform in the U.S. They're talking about specific aspects of fathering, but we're going to be doing it every month, regardless of what's going on in the world. And I'm very blessed, highly favored to be part of the front face. So as we always like to say, you're blessed and highly favored. You're a magnet for miracles, and you're a solution for someone's problem. I appreciate everyone who supported me, past, present, and future, even if it's for 30 seconds. And most importantly, Faces will be back. God bless. Peace be well. Keep the faith and stay safe. Drink a lot of water. I'm going to get my olive oil on my face. But I'm just gonna keep it above my face, folks. Nothing else. The TMI. Yeah. Nothing else. TMI. We're gonna keep it above the face. If you want to hear that other stuff, go follow Pureness on IG with her and Maluli. They talk about that kind of stuff. I don't talk about that stuff.
We go crazy, guys.
Good night, everybody.
It's not as professional
so much. And all right. God bless. And as Luke says, not for the olives. ? Goodbye, everybody. Good night.